Hey guys, welcome to the Studentiverse. My name is Dr. Noreen Stewart, and this is Stewart Learning. So today we are going to be talking about 3 reasons why this mid-year slump could be killing your grades. Now we are halfway through the academic calendar. So if you're struggling with executive function difficulties, it can make you even more fatigued and your grades can really take a beating. Today's video is for parents, students, and educators. Let's start off with parents. Are you seeing that your child is seeming more stressed? Are they starting to fall behind in their classes? And have they totally lost that planner that you got from at the beginning of the school year? Teachers, do you notice a widening gap between students due to poor organization, time management, and other skills that impact their academics? And students, do you feel like at the beginning of the year you knew what was going on and now you're pretty much lost? So here's 3 reasons why you might feel like everything is starting to fall apart. Reason number 1, your stuff is misplaced, you're tardy, and you're exhausted. Do you remember at the beginning of the year when you were all like energized? You're like, I'm on top of the world and I can do this all! And now you feel a downshift as you're losing steam. Your stuff is misplaced. This is the time of year when you've accumulated all those super important papers and they're in like a pile in the corner. And then when I go and look into your backpack, it's a mound of stuff crammed in the bottom. You have no idea. I do backpack random checks. I do random checks on the locker. The things that I have pulled out. Things that are no longer alive. Things that are dirty. I basically just I learned early on, don't reach your hand straight in. You don't know what you're gonna find. So I just do the straight dump and then let them sift through it. Anyway, I know what your backpacks look like. It's okay, start fresh. Burn it. Y'all are tardy. You need to be mindful of all those latenesses. And some of y'all skipping class altogether. I see you. I see all of you. You cannot be missing that targeted learning time. It's super important. And you are exhausted. You're legitimately tired. Burnout is real. Imagine that you were a dancer and you had a bad ankle. You still have to go to rehearsal 5 days a week. You're always kind of behind the counts. You're kind of tired, you're putting extra strain on your body, and you're just feeling like, I can't keep up. It can be a lot like that in school too, where you're feeling like you're just trying to hold on and can't quite keep up with the class. Number 2, you're struggling with executive dysfunction. So executive functions are mental skills that we need in life to effectively get things done. These processes enable us to plan, organize, and manage our time, pay attention during tasks, remember information, control our impulses. These skills are regulated by the frontal lobe portion of the brain, which doesn't fully mature until young adulthood. And if you don't have a solid grasp on executive functions, you might not be accurately recognizing the underlying reasons for your students' difficulties. And number 3, the work gets more demanding. I know that sounds like one of those obvious things, but it's often overlooked. As the class continues, the work gets harder because our educational system is built on a cumulative process. What that means is that there's the assumption that you understand and have a solid foundation of all previous information that has been taught. So if you don't have this information down pat or the study habits in place, it's just gonna make things harder. Here are 3 strategies that can help. Number 1, fill in the blanks. There are a lot of adults who had learning differences as they were growing up, and one thing that they keep saying is that they almost start to understand a topic, and right as they were about to grasp it, the teacher moves on. So they never quite fully get it, and they're kind of always playing catch up and can never quite fully feel like they know what's going on. In order to get those concepts really cemented in your brain, you need to figure out which concepts you're missing. This is a great time to reach out to your resources, talk to your teachers, figure out what pieces am I missing that are really holding me back. Parents and teachers, please make sure to break down the skills that go into the assignments that the student has. For example, how do you write a research paper? There's so many different components. How do you create a project? How do you do a presentation? Number 2, pick one challenge. When you try to make too many changes at once, you end up becoming overwhelmed, stressed, and then even more avoidant. As you're working on the challenge, think of it as a two-step process. One, you break it down and establish your new goals for your habit. Step two is reestablishing those habits when you become tired throughout the semester and your productivity begins to wane. You can utilize a planner or calendar to help you map out how you're going to consistently work towards creating this new habit. It's important to make some habits automatic. It allows you to expend less energy on a daily basis. For example, have a clear plan for where you study, when you study, what's the space look like? Do you have an area that you always use? Do you have a certain time of day that you're always studying? And setting up those times to meet with your teacher weekly. And one final note, as you work through the challenge that you identified, the reason why it's so important to put some of these habits on autopilot is that it allows your working memory to deal with more complex and difficult tasks. And lastly, number 3, make sure to give your brain breaks. Research is ever changing on how much shorter our attention spans are getting. We have to think, if someone is struggling with executive function difficulties or has learning differences, you're working 2 times, sometimes even 3 times as hard as your fellow classmates. It can be exhausting. Give yourself a moment to regroup, pause, and then get back into your topic. An important tip, make sure to check your accommodations, because there are many students who are legally mandated to be allowed to take a break. For example, it could be 5 minutes of break for 45 minutes of testing, or it could be 5 minutes of break for every 30 minutes of testing. Make sure to know your rights. So that's it for today's video on how to get over the hump of the school year. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Follow me on all my social media, links are below, and make sure to subscribe to join the Stewniverse. Bye guys. Reason number 1. You get a big thumbs up.
Why did you get?
Because you moved your head like you hated me.
You got a notification.